Order, if everyone please rise. This time I'd ask that y'all join me in prayer. Father God, we come together this day and still in awe of the many blessings and yet the confusing information that we see out in the world. Whether it's the media, our neighbor, whatever, let us realize that you're really in charge. Forgive us when we forget that. Forgive us when we sin and fall short of the grace that you have given us. Father, look over all those that respond to care for our citizens, to care for those that are ill. Protect them and keep them safe. And Father, we especially reach out for the conflicts that are going on right now between our law enforcement people and our citizens. We are all God's children. Let us keep that in mind first. Forgive one another and look ahead. Look for solutions that we might find in a way that is pleasing to you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now the Texas pledge, please.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Take your seats, please. I do want to take this time, we have a proclamation for today, and the recipients of that decided that they would just pick it up and not come here. Sue Ramser is president of National Society of Daughters of the Revolution. This is for Constitution Week, that they would do that, but we have done this several years, and so I didn't want that to be recognized as part of the minutes that we did have that proclamation. Next item on the agenda is public comment. Anyone in the audience have anything, or anyone on the telephone system wish to bring anything up? Okay, hearing none, I'll move on to the consent agenda.
Judge, I had a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Bear with me one second. I didn't mark it and I should have. The item number 10 on the our Choice Silver, is United Healthcare the same entity that we discussed last week at a meeting?
Yes, sir. I believe it is.
Would this then render itself to be a problem for those
Well,
unless something's reached?
Well, if we're going to do it with Texas Association, that's the county that do that work with. In fact, I think it might help us go back through that and go to the Texas Association of Counties and have them aware. But if we're going to offer that coverage to our retirees, that's the only mechanism we have before us right now to do that. And it's unfortunate that they got the contract for Medicaid Advantage, and people need to look at that. It sounds real good at first on the Medicaid Advantage. You need to talk to your agent and find out, I'm going to save money here, but I'm going to limit my coverage over here. Find out what you're doing. You may want to look at some of the other options through AARP or something else, or some other carrier, because with what they explained to us in the hospital board meeting, some of it can be a little short-sighted as far as your access to services because they're out of network. So our retirees, which is only a few that participate, need to look at that. But this does offer them the opportunity to have a different variety of coverages that we offer now.
And then item number 9, what is that change order?
Jeff, most of that is eaten up in COVID-related expenses when we added the COVID temperature checks, which as of last Thursday, we have suspended that practice. There were 2 other items within that change order. One was because we had to lower the ceiling in the main hall. We had to reroute some fire sprinkler lines. And I'm trying to think what the other one was for. Let me pull up the documentation on that.
It's a rec yard.
Oh, yeah, the rec yard. When we initially did the walkthrough after they finished the CMU walls for toilets that they put in the rec yards, we discovered that that was not going to be a sufficient fix. It would add a place for inmates to get up on top of, so we asked that they be topped out all the way to the grading at the ceiling level height. So that's what that was adding in. The majority of that is at COVID expense, which we're gathering all those COVID-related expenses up currently, and we'll be seeking reimbursement for that.
Okay.
That whole thick attachment is the various ones that are covered in there.
Okay.
I'd make the motion to approve consent.
Thanks, sir.
Second.
Any comments, questions, anyone in the audience on the consent agenda? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 1 is discuss, consider, take action to record a vote on the 2021 no new revenue tax rate of 0.644005 as proposed by the county judge at the county judge's budget that was filed a week ago. And this is a new procedure that we vote now. This is the vote on the proposed tax rate that the court will sign off on it for or against on a document that then is filed. But this sets into motion so that we can go forward and next Monday then take action to adopt the budget and the tax rate for 2021. So by your voting on this day, and we can only go down on the tax rate from here. We cannot go up because we had made an early decision that we were going to go with the no new revenue or effective rate as it was known before, and that would suffice for the needs for the county.
Well, Judge, I'll make the motion that we take action on the proposed no new revenue tax rate of 644,005.
Second.
Any other comments or questions?
So Judge, do I understand you guys are going to be voting individually on this? But it says to record a vote that it's everybody,
Yes.
it's not a joint, okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Commissioner Beecham, how do you vote? You vote for or against?
Mark, are you there?
Mark?
Hello, I'm sorry, help you.
Oh,
I don't understand the question from the audience. What was that?
there were no questions. Tracy just asked if it was going to be a record vote, and yes, it is. So I will call on each of you individually to vote for or against the proposed tax rate.
I vote for.
Commissioner Harvey,
4.
Commissioner Mahler,
4.
Commissioner Watts,
4.
Judge Gossam is 4.
That's 5-4.
And Judge, could you maybe give us a slight a slight explanation as to the revenue derived, or maybe not the revenue derived, but the formula for deriving the revenue, because it is a little bit confusing to the normal person when they look at our overall appraised rate as multiplied by our last year's tax rate.
Okay, I'm gonna have to qualify. First you said a normal person's understanding, then either I'm not normal, and the rest of the world is not normal, because there are, in trying to interpret this, in fact, there's one of the forms the comptroller's office hasn't gotten developed yet, that had to do with this. They also voided a section of this as uninterpretable. But the best that you can look at is, normally what was the effective rate, if you had property value go up, tax rate went down. You should then be able to take that value, multiply it by the new tax rate, and come up with almost the same amount of revenue that you had the year before. That doesn't work that way this year. There's some interesting discounters in there. The way they handle the money in TIF sums causes a little bit of difference in it. The real one that slid in is you get penalized for doing a good job in the tax office. Mr. Smyth's office has done a great job in working with our delinquent tax collection firm, Purdue Brandon, and they have brought in over the last 3 years better than 100% of the proposed tax revenue. But why I say it's an odd penalty is that's not all new money. A percentage of that money, somewhere in the 2 to 5% range, is delinquent tax money. So because we have yet to take I think it's the lowest figure, Willie might help me, lowest figure of the last 3 years you can use as a multiplier towards the tax money, the tax base, and then that it gets subtracted off of that balance of revenue.
In our instance, in this case, ours was like 105% collected, correct?
100.53.
100.5, yeah.
And when you multiply 0.53 times that number, you do come up with some money. So that lowered the appraised value in there. It's why they would penalize you for going back and getting previous year's money. You had, if you spent that money, you used up reserve funds. Actually, it should be going back into our fund balance to replace the funds we used because we didn't collect those taxes.
Has nothing to do with current tax.
No, it doesn't.
No.
It's not new money or more money.
And Michelle may be grimacing if she's listened to my explanation of this, but, his office and with her and all, we worked a lot of hours, Mr. Wall, Mr. Watts, in trying, and I don't know how many hours with people on the phone, including other county auditors that I've worked with, and with one of the experts with Purdue Brandon. And if I thought truth in taxation was confusing before, the effort of the legislature to reduce taxes was their goal. But I don't think they realize, I'd love to see Senator Perry, who's a CPA, for him to run through this and figure it out.
I bet he has. I bet he's looked at it.
Well, I hope you're right.
But I think he probably
I'm
would.
not sure some of the rest of them did. But that's the best explanation I can give you of that. But it does leave us with a little less money coming in. And, we're going to have less revenue also because of lower interest rates. So it's going to be a tight year. We're really going to have to hold back, look at, and see how other forms of revenue come in. And hopefully we'll get unwound the fee offices that have been collecting the fees and trying to get those sorted out. which Ms. Flores reminds me, I would like to get us on a phone call with Philip, with you, Nikki, Commissioner Watson, me, this week, and find out why they have not gotten you the answers to all the effort you put in giving a reply to the things they asked you to do. Maybe there'll be some time this afternoon. And now, I know a week of that was he was out, but he isn't the one that was working directly on that. So we'll call again this afternoon. Would that work for you?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, anything else on that item? Okay, we have had the vote, we got 5 fours, and now we're review and approve the regular bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
You know, Commissioner Harvey, maybe you ought to sit there more often. That's 2 motions you made just right off the bat. I appreciate it.
I'm going to make another one.
Mark, that chair's trained well.
Very good.
All right. Okay, any comments or questions on the bills? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action to adjust the Justice of Peace Precinct 2 clerk's annual salary from $30,000 to $30,254 to align her salary with similar clerks within the remaining outlying Justice of the Peace offices to be paid from lines within Department 457 budget as determined by county auditor. Commissioner Harvey, did you bring that?
No, Judge Merchant put it back on there.
Okay, Judge Burchett, are you on the line?
I had talked to Judge Burchett Friday, and he said that Commissioner Harvey would speak to
Yeah,
us.
I would speak for it, yes.
Okay.
I would like to make that motion. This is a 12-cent an hour raise for our JP Office Precinct 2. His a personal assistant. And it's just to align, it's not much money. It's just, we made some rather drastic changes in some other salaries, and this was requested and denied, and I just felt like that it should not have been denied. So I'll make a motion that we accept it and approve it as stated.
Second.
It just basically brings all the clerks into line, right,
Yes. It's $254 a year
for one person.
for one person.
Okay, any other comments, anyone in the audience? Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 4, is discuss, consider, take action to approve SHI quote in the amount of $81,476.54 for the purchase of LEC network switches and hardware items 1 through 20 to be paid from LEC funds and transferred to the appropriate lines determined by the county auditor. Items 21 through 25 to be paid from 100.412.5001 capital expenditures and transferred to the appropriate lines determined by the county auditor. Mr. Crutchfield.
Yes, sir, Judge. What we got here are switches for the network portion, the LAN portion of the LEC. There are 350 odd drops out there currently that they're putting in. So it's taking 2 rather large modular switches to cover all those ports. The radios that we put in, the new microwave is going to be running at 10 gigs instead of the 1 gig that we have currently. So what the other is to up the bandwidth on our existing network. The IT director at that time had the foresight to have fiber optic ran to all the switches. And so the switches that were purchased with just adding some modules, we can have 10 gig on the majority of our network backbone within the courthouse as well. And especially the one on the 4th floor where those radios come in, because you have to have that in order for the LEC to work. That's what this is for.
Okay.
So part that's going at the courthouse and part of it is going to be at the LEC.
That's correct.
Okay, I was wondering why it was split, so, okay. Motion to approve, the stuff within the LEC is within the LEC budget.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Good work. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 5 is discuss to take action to allow salary adjustments for the following positions in the district clerk's office effective pay period beginning October 2nd, 2020. And those are listed for positions 02, 04, 05, 06, 07, and 08.
Patty, did you
Yeah, Ms. Flores.
Did you look at that schedule? I mean, there's that one, you talked about, there was a position I think you were pulling down, but that position stays a little bit higher than the other ones. And is that what you wanted to do?
Did I understand you earlier when you talked to us about this during a budget work session? This is only for the remainder of this year, or this carries over into 2020?
No, it carries over. to
Carries over, okay.
The budget,
I
yes.
thought the way this read it did, but I wanted to confirm that with you. And that is well done within everything, and we appreciate how you realigned those. That's good. Any other comments or questions? Okay, could I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion to approve.
Second.
The delay got you, Commissioner. You didn't, got in at second. You got in at second and a half. Okay. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Watts to approve the item as presented. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item number 6 is discuss, consider, take action on the district clerk's proposal to transfer unused budget travel funds of up to $3,000 to compensate her chief deputy for ongoing work on Odyssey conversion. This salary increase will not continue into 2021 and will end December 31st. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Flores, any other additional information?
No, it's just to help compensate her for the work that's ongoing, which will continue ongoing next year, but I will hopefully need my travel budget next year.
Okay, I hope we all do. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm wondering what the governor's going to do about those people who are unable to obtain their hours.
I got the rest of my hours this year online.
Good, good. Well, a lot of us got our hours, on the TAC legislative conference that was open for certification for most all offices. I don't know. It didn't count county judges because we only are required to have judicial education, which is unfortunate. The administrative education is very important also. So that $3,000 you want to use would include pay and salary expenses to all be taken out of that same $3,000.
Correct.
And that'd be paid out by each paycheck until the end of the fiscal year, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
You'll have to do, Patty, won't you do a change order of some sort so that they know to do that?
Well, I think if you visit with them, so they'll give you the numbers, they'll break it down.
Okay.
You let payroll and Victor know what you want to do, then they'll break that out and come as close to that as they can, so. All right. Do we have a motion there?
Yes.
Thank you.
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 7 is discuss or take action to approve an overlap of time for training of the new APAR clerk in the treasurer's office to be paid from lines within Department 497 budget as determined by the county auditor. Our general fund contingency. Mr. Hampton came and talked to me about this. And I think it's an excellent idea to have that overlap and training, because his current clerk in there is going to retire at the end of October, is that right?
Has indicated that desire.
Okay.
We,
Go ahead, sir.
yeah, we've not had any, input in our financial system since March 11th. So we're fixing to get a voluminous amount of keystroking opportunities from the district clerk and the county clerk's offices. So
Is it back up, Bob, now?
you can, no, everything's, it's like Big Chief tablet right now, Commissioner. Everything's hard copy. So what we've got to do is we have to transpose those records, which Deb's done a magnificent job of doing. But I'm telling you, it's painfully slow. So I've asked, well, he was repo. I've asked George to put a new computer in my office, and so we'll be not only training, but we'll be doing the work to try to catch up. But it takes all day to.
And Bob, I don't guess there's no advantage or anything to be done within Munis at the same time as this is coming up. I wouldn't, since you're having to actually input it, would that make any sense to
Just input it in Munis.
input it into Munis? Is it?
Well, I need to talk to
Cheryl.
Ms. Jones and make sure that we're all doing on the same thing, which she's been outstanding as far as compatriot.
She let you in the office?
She lets everybody in. There's no lock on that.
Well, there is a lot when they interact, but it's, yeah. But
The
it
key
is.
thing is that she and I have had several discussions, and it all boils down to we transfer certain things out of her office, then I'm willing to do that, but I need people, as I requested back in 2014. And now, because of that situation, we're kind of in a situation that we're really challenged.
Well, it's easy to turn you down because you got rock stars in your office that can just do amazing work, like Karen and Deb, and they're going to be retiring pretty soon, so we
Yeah.
better get somebody in there to get them trained up.
That's the key, Commissioner, is I want to leave that office in
Tip-top shape.
top shape, and the fact is that, and we'll soon talk about this, every county needs a treasurer. And there's no sense in creating a new office situation that we've done in the past. So that's where we are.
Bob, is when Patty's deposits come through and she gives you the final on them, will you have to go in there and manually break those down? Or will that system be up running enough that it knows how to divvy that
Well,
payment?
Thanks to Ms. Flores, we're going to do a month at a time. So and hopefully we might even try to do that anyway. This 2 cents, and we've probably got 50 different
Trust
line
me.
items. It's just bizarre that we let ourselves get into this kind of a trap, which goes right back to what you've already alluded to, Judge. The state is just absolutely, and people are listening to this, so they need to know that they need to start checking their local government as opposed to the state government, because it is my understanding, it's my interpretation rather, that the state wants to run Wichita County as they do all 256 counties.
54.
56.
Well,
54.
I'm going to try to run for presidency, so
No.
We annexed Oklahoma.
all 55 states,
Hope we got the casinos.
Yeah. However many we got.
Let me throw this out, because a
Yeah.
wise person said this to me this morning, I haven't forgotten it yet. Would there, we've talked about getting July straight of
We've
last,
got July in.
ma'am?
We do have July down for them now.
Oh, okay. Well, the thought was given me this morning was, what about come back to like August, where we've had so much fewer transactions, and work that way? Would that work at all or not?
We're working on August now. We ran the reports and they don't match.
Okay.
Are they
Lucky
bad
that's-
off, Patty, or bad off, or?
I think it was $450. We're trying to find.
Good district clerk would just write a check and get us there.
I'm about ready
I'll chip
to
in,
do
baby.
that.
You got any more travel money left, Judge? Judge, this is necessary training. I'll make a motion to approve this.
Okay, let me get in scope what we need to approve a minute.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Hampton, you mentioned that Deb has probably 90-something hours of vacation.
Matter of fact, I wrote, I'd never make a Lone Ranger.
Well, he got it in the wrong place. He covered his eyes.
Yeah. She's got 196 hours of vacation time.
Okay, she can't have that many.
Yeah, 180.
180 is the max.
Yeah, we understand that.
Okay,
That gives you an idea. The reason I brought that up is the reason I have two dedicated ladies. They don't take off. They don't call in sick.
okay.
And,
Sick time isn't
We're
in
there
the
every day and they're busy. You know, the old deal of cross-training, you have to have time to cross-train.
Okay. Let's go back and get this motion right.
Okay.
What I think you need, from what you're telling me, you want to bring the new person in, you probably interview for maybe a couple of weeks. Then that person, if you hire them from somewhere else, they may have 2 weeks of notice they want to give. I'm just looking at this. But what I see us approving is if that person gets on board 2 weeks from now or the 1st of October, then you want them and Deb to overlap at least the whole month of October.
Exactly. I mean, we've got to have somebody to train.
Okay.
Plus all these key punches.
Okay, then you've got 180 hours of vacation to use up. So that's going to extend her on the payroll. So that's
That's going to be
that's
going to be my water truck.
okay. I hope you get a good deal on it. But we need to overlap that time. So we need to, in the approval, Nancy, in the minutes, it's going to, and Commissioner, it's going to approve the overlap of vacation and pay out that person. So we'll have somewhat of a dual slot. Now, when she stops working, that will take her off the payroll and they will then review her vacation and there'll be a separate check on that. So theoretically, she should be off the payroll by November 1st, which that means her insurance will end in the end of October.
Well, the key word there, Judge, is, is theoretically. I mean, we want to get this work done, and so it may take some flexibility there. Because I want to bring somebody on as fast as we can. At the same time, this person has to be qualified. And
Yes,
has
sir.
to have the right
Yeah.
speech ringtone.
And what you might do is bring them on. You could bring them on through the temp service as one of your options, or you can bring them on as an employee. That's your call. But what what the motion would need to be, we approve the overlap and continue salary as long as you have Deb in the position plus her vacation. So let's don't put an end amount on it then, because you might need her.
But
It's
Deb
gonna
might
be-
work,
It's going to be somewhat costly, but the thing about it is, gee, I need Christmas.
but Deb could,
We
I
should
mean,
have
she
never
might
done
want to
this.
work all year, right? I mean, and carry her vacation even next year.
She could.
If she, and I guess there's no way to dual pay her.
See, the thing about it is, I've got to the auditor is going to come over and start, Jose, who's absolutely a pleasure to work with, as are those guys, we got a lot of good staff with it. But they can't key punch in their office, so they have to come over here and do those transfers out of my office, and that's the reason we need that new setup. So it's gonna be kind of crowded in there for a while too, because we gotta get, whatever it takes to get the job done.
Oh, that's right. George is in Caroline's office, isn't he?
He is.
I forgot about that.
When we vacate the training facility, training offices there, those will be open here in a few weeks.
Excuse me, chief, don't give away something that isn't yours.
What?
I said, don't give away something that isn't yours yet.
Okay.
There's a plan on all of that, but we don't know
I'm
when it
just
is.
saying that there will be an office
I
there for
realize.
a few weeks.
Yeah. And they're also,
It
it's
was
not gonna
for
happen in
tomorrow.
time, but I was gonna say, y'all are getting new computers when you go out to, I believe, well, the computer got
Some.
left.
I don't know if it's all, but some.
Okay. We'll look at that, but what I'm gonna ask for the motion, Commissioner Waller, is to approve the overlap for the duration of, until the training and the keying work is done.
Probably the end of the year.
Yeah,
I would just
yeah,
say.
and we'd have to then do something for 2021.
But we have to, I guess my point is, we have to make Deb take her vacation. She has to burn it that way, or can we actually pay her for it if she wanted to work
Well, yeah,
and help
we-
Bob?
We can pay her for it.
Okay, you can't pay her vacation and work. She stays on the payroll. She will earn more vacation. Well, she's not gonna earn more because 180 is the max. So, but she will continue to pay. What we're doing is authorizing that second person. Now, if you bring them on as a regular employee, then they're gonna be, then health insurance comes into it.
Right off the bat.
Well, my point was, Judge, that if Deb has to burn her vacation and she wanted to get it done this year, she's gonna have to quit Bob pretty quick to get on vacation to burn up those days. There's no way to work her as long as she was willing to work her as long as she wanted to and pay her the days of vacation, so that she doesn't have to be gone, or that we don't linger into the whole
No,
first
we don't
quarter.
do that.
Oh,
Okay, she will work, and she stops work, that takes her off payroll, they will go through and audit her vacation claim, and then she'll be paid a last check for vacation. It's how long Mr. Hampton wants to keep her on, but what I need to allow for in this motion is that new person then gonna be eligible for benefits during that time.
I would say so, Judge. I mean,
Okay, if we bring them on, if they don't come through a temp service.
yeah, if they
I-
don't come through, Tim.
I'm just saying the motion's got to include that. You can't leave that stuff out. That's what I'm trying to.
Well, Judge, why would you do that?
Sir?
Why would you do that? Why would you hire somebody direct that works for the county and deny them benefits when everybody else gets it?
Because we bring in a lot of people as a temp, Commissioner Harvey.
A temp needs to come through a temp.
Let me finish. Tommy Smythe came up with this idea, it was a good one. You know, you interview somebody, they look good, so you put them on regular payroll. Then you find out they're not so good. Then you're gonna deal with a unemployment claim possibly. If you bring them in, try them for 90 days as a temp, and then you move into it, that's done pretty regular.
That's what I do. I go through a temp
Okay,
service.
that's all I'm suggesting here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about putting them on with the county as a county employee and denying them benefits.
You can't do that.
That's what, there you go.
Well, so, I said the word temp.
There you go. I'm with
Bob,
you.
you don't have to
I'm with
work
you.
somebody 90
with you.
days through the temp service either. You could work them one day and call the temp service that night and say, don't send Betty back, give me another one. They could send you 10 people to try, and you could get rid of every one of them and find somebody on your own. So there's no limit of time
Great
on
way to
a
find the
temp
right
service.
It's
If
a
you
great way
wanted
to
to,
Yeah.
if you didn't have people in mind and you just wanted to try some girls that have that type of experience that have applied, they'll send you those people. And you
Well,
probably,
I would appreciate the flexibility of,
Yes, sir, that's what I'm trying to get built in here, so,
Yeah.
because you need that flexibility. So we would approve salary and benefits once that person's, either day one or you do them the other way. But the best practice we've had was really to hire the person as a temp.
Yeah.
And then you've got a whole lot. Now, the other thing is if you have somebody in mind and you send them to the temp agency to apply, you don't have to wait the 90 days. If the temp agency finds someone and you put them on, then we have to pay the, their fee for the 90 days. Otherwise, there's a hiring fee, or whatever they call that, which is significant. So if you start that, just realize that unless you sent the person, that ought to be 90 days. So, and if you hire somebody within the county, then they just transfer from one office to another. But, okay, so the motion would be that we allow the overlap for training and the keying project that needs to be done to enter the information through December 31st. And
With salary and benefits too?
yes,
Okay, do we put a monetary value on that salary and benefits?
it would be
30,000.
the same salary there, but Mr. Hampton has said he's going to, because Deb's got a lot of experience is why her salary is up there. He's not going to start that person at that same amount, but could build them up to that.
And up to Deb's salary, whatever it is in the line item?
Yes, sir.
For her salary, okay,
Yeah.
got you. So moved.
Okay, Commissioner Waller, you want to second that since you got?
Well, that's exactly what I had written down,
Okay.
word for word.
Hello?
Hang on, Tim. I'm trying to get this written down.
Bob, you don't realize how good your people are. You realize Karen had a check engine light on her car, went to O'Reilly's, got the little reader, plugged it in there and read it, analyzed it herself.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's how good your people are.
Oh, my heavens.
That happened today.
She's trying to use it on me this morning.
She mentioned that last night.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Beecham, second by Commissioner Muller, to approve the overlap of the new person in the treasurer's office with Deb during the training time and the keying in project that would be eligible for salary, regular salary and benefits, or may be hired as a temp to hire through December 31st of 2020. That sound like it got it all?
Sounds good to me.
All right. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
What about going into 2021? Are we going to put that salary in the treasurer's office or 409?
Well, let's see what evolves out of conversations with the auditor.
Well, we're going to approve the budget next week. We need to know.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know, we've got a short fuse.
Okay,
Okay, guys, we'll take care of, there's places in 409.
that's what I was
If we
thinking.
need to, we'll do that, but, I'm looking at, Deb wants to retire. Originally, I heard it was December, and then it looks like, she backed up. But I think with her loyalty to Mr. Hampton, she's probably gonna ride as long as it needs to get that person ingrained and maybe get this project done. So let's deal with it. We have slots in 409 we can pull out and change when we know what the big change is gonna be.
Sure,
Okay?
sure.
All right.
We got a lot of,
Now we want some good news.
Now, we will receive the
Well,
monthly
there is
investment
some
reports
good
from Mr. Bob Hampson, County Treasurer.
there is some good news. And there's also some interesting news.
That looks like my.
Can you see your deal from, can you see that all right, Mark?
Well, it says 1973.
Yeah, clear as mud.
Okay. This
Willie
chart
Miller.
right there on top.
Thank you.
Oh,
You talking about the electrocardiogram chart here?
this chart on top is straight from from Murphy. And I tell you, the reason I gave it to you is that the treasurer has not, the 10-year bond treasury note has not been as low as it is right now since 1945, right after World War II. So it gives you an idea how challenging things are right now. Everything we do in the county, in every county, has to do with the Public Funds Investment Act, which was spin-off of some interesting financial decisions made in Orange County, California. I know that shocked you years ago, and it bankrupt Orange County. So the only thing we can do is abide by the Public Funds Investment Act, and the Treasury is kind of the backbone of that situation. Your next little doodad there shows the tax pool, which we're pulling out. Oh, the next one in your pile is a federal farm credit bond that I got.
33 million.
This last week, 3 years at 0.25. Now you talk about market risk. Tie up your money for 3 years.
This says 2.8.
0.25, that's 25 basis points. That's not, we're losing money in that deal. So we had a majority of our money in tax pool. Okay, if you notice, the August of this year, tax pool is paying 1.17 in our tax pool account, and the tax pool prime is 0.34. Now that has since dropped. And on the back of that sheet is your last year's 2019 tax pool was paying 2% in regular tax pool account, tax pool prime 2.3. So it gives you an idea of wow, how things have really backed up on us. So,
And no projection on this 0.28, Bob, as to when that could change?
absolutely nobody knows. Boy, everybody's in an absolute, it's a real conundrum, it really is. Okay, then your spreadsheet for August of this year, indicates we've got about 41 million in general fund. Road and bridge, 5.2 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I say neighborhood because here again, we've got to get on these inputs to give exact real numbers. These are real dollars, but where they are categorically in each precinct, that's what TSG has done in the past. So when you're looking at your numbers there, that's just the best guess. Debt, we just paid out a large sum out of debt, so that's shrunk down considerably, and then TJPC money there, you see that. Now, the good news part of it is that in your pile there is the August 2019. And just a snapshot there, in August of 19, we had 37.9 million as opposed to 41 million. So we've got some borrowed money involved in our current balances, but still we've got a nice reserve account. And you need a reserve account because our interest income is going to be, as you can tell, probably 18, 24 months. It's going to be crippled.
Well, we've got money in permanent improvement fund. That's all it's had. And we put, one of the things that I need to ask you to monitor is we did put $5 million from fund balances into an emergency fund, so that we would have that available in the budget. I hope we don't have to go anywhere near that, but we thought it was better to put it in there instead of having to go through all of the rigors to pull it from fund balances into the budget. So that has made the bottom line number of our budget significantly greater than. And then the other thing we added into there was the that changed it is accounting for the LEC fund payments as part of the construction payments as part of the budget also. So that raised that number.
Just a final thought, and that is our local banks, our locally run banks have just been outstanding as far as helping the county, and so people need to know that. Deal locally,
Well,
you know.
a lot of that's relationships, and that's one of your fortes.
Well, local banks understand the county has to have money to work on. And they've been very helpful in making things happen. Big tier banks, all they know is what's in the book, protocol. Chapter 3, verse 12.
Any other questions for Mr. Hampton on the investments in the report? If not, I'd like a motion then to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 9 is discuss, consider, take action to approve WebFire Communications quote number 7522 for $2,400 for in-building cell phone booster and antenna, including installation to be paid from LEC bond funds. That seems low to me from what I'm recalling.
Joe just made the agenda incorrectly. This is actually for the Burnett Annex.
I was gonna say, I thought the one for the LEC was like 45,000
Yeah.
or something.
So that needs,
No, this is for the Burnett Annex building. They had asked if there was a solution for that building because cell phones do not work in it. I went out there and experienced it myself, so I'm just bringing that forward for their request.
And Mark, does it deal with a variety of cell phones?
No.
This booster will, this is same, or very similar to what we're doing in the LEC, that it will, it's essentially a rebroadcaster of whatever signal it picks up.
when we're looking at that, did we have similar problems? Well, now Electra has one in it, and evidently Iowa Park is working fine the way it is.
As far as I know,
I've never heard anything
never had any
otherwise.
problem with it.
I didn't either, I've been in that building.
But you could literally, when you go into ours, if you dropped out of the front portion of that building, you lost complete, you couldn't even get Wi-Fi, nothing. To run the laptop in the break room was impossible.
Well, I put a cell phone booster inside my personal building in Burnett, and it doesn't do but just one brand. It'll do Verizon, or you can buy one for AT&T, or you can go buy one for US Cellular. I could not find a cell phone booster that would boost all the different companies. So I just got the one for Verizon. I spent $180 on it. I put it in the little suspended ceiling and put the antenna on the roof. The antenna and the booster together was $180.
I've got one in my shop, but it's like this one, it picks up all
Does it?
the signal. It's just a little repeater deal, outside antenna, a little inside.
Yep, little cone upside down.
My shops, there's no windows in it, other than when you shut the door,
You're in there,
which is a good thing.
sure.
We had to go mess it up.
Well, talking to Ripley, he went out and did the study of what signal was in the area, and he suggested would be the best. It does say compatible with all carriers in his proposal.
That'd be great.
See, Lee, you need a $2,400 one instead of that $180 one. That's what the
Well, I
difference.
would-
Works just fine for me.
Mine may be more like Lee's, because mine wasn't 300. Of course, I ran the wires to little different places maybe, or
Yeah.
stretched it out, but I'm thinking mine might be like Lee's.
Mine works great, but it's just for Verizon.
And when we originally looked at the ones at the LEC, they were gonna be just for US Cellular.
Yeah.
But when we got it out of that $292,000 plan back to a $45,000 plus some additional electrical work costs, we were a whole lot better off. So, at any rate, I changed this to follow what Commissioner Beecham said. So instead of from LEC bonds funds, it will be from, Willie, will the building fund for that building possibly carry that expense that we pay utilities and everything out of? Okay. So, yeah, from building funds or lines determined by the county auditor, which will be acceptable for all cell services. Okay, is there a motion then?
Yes.
Harvey?
Second.
Harvey?
Yes.
And second by Commissioner Beecham. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries 5-0. Item 10 is receive an update on the Law Enforcement Center project. Commissioner Beecham?
Well, I didn't get to make the meeting and listen to it on the phone. It sounds like we're making all the progress we need to be making. Been dealing with all the little tiny details of moving into the building. We're still set to go with the stone setting this Friday. Next week, we'll finish out everything and hopefully start actually moving people and equipment over the following week.
Commissioner, I sent out emails yesterday to a couple of different people having to do with that. One was I wasn't sure what was planned on how that area was going to be cleaned up and prepped. I didn't know that was going to be done by Yates personnel or by inmate labor. I didn't know whether that had been decided. And I asked for that to be done by Wednesday because I want those tents put in place Thursday. They've never, Commissioner, they've never been out of the box or anything.
Brandon, do we want some folding chairs in there?
You bring the chairs, there'll be chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Who's bringing the chairs?
joiners looking for some chairs, but if you have access to some,
Well, we have the white chairs, folding chairs that we use for our precinct 5 safety meetings. We probably have about
Oh, yeah.
50.
Well, then why not get them from one, he has 50 to get those from,
And they all match, you know. I don't know what Melvin's got. What does Melvin have? Does he have the white?
Ones we use in that.
For the hamburgers out front,
Hamburgers,
They're close to the same. They're white plastic like.
plastic
Yeah.
chairs.
okay, so we got two different places to get them. Just
Okay, we have plenty.
And then the tents, in some of that discussion, it looks like they're 13 by 26. And Commissioner Harvey and I talked about this, and what we see possibly is a 26-foot square. You put them longwise facing the building. I don't know whether that would work that way or not. I don't think you could put them end to end and be 46 foot. I think you wouldn't.
52 feet.
no, I think the big square probably work fine.
Okay,
26 by 26?
yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
And
And
then,
so this morning, you got about a, 30 or 40% chance of rain?
Right.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Oh, did
Long
they
ways
gauge
off
it?
though. I mean, long ways off. I wouldn't get. It's in there though. I saw it earlier.
oh really, now my weather lady at home said it wasn't gonna rain for a week.
Well, I bet one of them's right. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a long way till Friday to be trying to forecast the weather
Right.
in North Texas.
Yeah.
Phone says, sunny and 84, so let's hope my phone's right.
Okay,
That was early when I looked at it. It could have been a carryover deal before the new forecast came out.
okay. We got that update. Things are moving along well there. The power was turned on. We got that done. They are, really y'all's new move-in date is the 21st, is that right? or not?
28.
28th.
28.
That's, okay, it was the 21st, now it's the 28th, okay.
Of September.
September.
All right, that's
And
cool.
it's a good thing, Judge, is even if it's raining, that cornerstone won't melt.
No,
It won't melt, so.
And I did send to Michael Perry, asking them to make the stand for that, and I talked to Grandmaster, and he said if they're laid side by side, so they'd be like, they're 2 4-foot pieces lengthwise, aren't they, Bob?
they are.
Okay, so where that heavy-duty table they're gonna make for that needs to be at least 8 foot.
Did I see where the cornerstones were like 300 pounds apiece?
Easy.
Say that big, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, but I wanna watch Bob and Brian carry those and put them on the table. Yeah, over your shoulder? Okay. All right.
Well, we need to take a strong up for me and you, yeah.
Well, we just
Maybe we
army
are.
out on them and see if that worked, and get it closed.
That's right.
Let's load it twice. Let's load it twice.
Okay, anything on the, budget item? We do have those things we'll have and get prepared for you that have come in over the last few work sessions that we will line up, to get those changes in, once we approve Ms. Flores this morning. And, I haven't received anything else, and it's really getting too late to receive anything else, so. We'll get that put together, and then we always change it during the year, yeah, so. Okay, we're down to anyone in the audience, anybody have anything? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Flores.
Question, once the sheriff's department moves out, who are we gonna take our money to? Or are we gonna have to start going to the bank or something?
No, Mr. Hampton has agreed, and he's gotten a new fast draw holster that he's gonna wear to carry that over to the bank. But no, y'all will bring it to the treasurer's office is where it will go. And then he said he would rather consolidate those and deliver them to the bank. So we'll probably drop that pickup from here. We'll still pick up the annex and with the outlying annexes. But that's kind of a modified schedule right now because the tax office's reduced operation.
Well, how will, just that made me think, will your civil division, how will they receive their papers? They're going with you to LEC, right? So do they come over here and
A
pick
lot
them
of it's
up?
done electronically now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's still gonna take a little working out, but that,
Fine details to work out a lot of things.
Talking a little bit more about the cornerstone, Judge.
yes, sir.
I'm definitely gonna need a PA system, but now sheriff's, so that's good.
I thought we got one, Bob.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
got one.
Oh, is that,
We
okay,
got
that was you, Mark? I
PA system
thought-
on the podium set up.
Good deal. And there is a lunch now at Faith Lodge, that's the Masonic Lodge over on Camp Street. And every one of you are welcome, so,
Is it all
as a matter of fact, Nancy, you're giving the invitation, so,
All you need.
Is it all you need, Bob?
Yeah, they tell you that's all you need.
And Bob, the lodge is across from what on
It's
Camp?
right next to Lutheran Church, there, just
yeah,
curved.
that American Trinity, American Lutheran,
Okay,
yeah, it's
Right
right next
before you get to Wendy's and
okay.
the car wash is right there on the.
Gotcha.
We're on the east side.
There is more parking in the back, absolutely.
A lot of parking in
Is
there.
that with or without spouses or significant others or whatever?
If you feel led to bring your spouse, we're gonna hopefully, yeah, holler at me if you want to. And
Okay.
I just wanna have plenty of food for everybody, but I wanna make sure you know you're welcome. You don't have to be a Mason. We're gonna eat probably around 11:15, 11:20. Go and open a representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas, which, you know, you guys will just meet us out at the jail, and then we'll call off and meet out at the new jail complex somewhere around 1:45
Are you
10
bringing
to 2.
aprons?
Sir,
Are you bringing aprons, or we need to bring our own?
bring your own if you can.
Let's have my burial
It'll be-
apron.
There'll be,
We don't want to bury them.
That's all I have, I don't have a,
I'll have some aprons.
Mance, we're supposed to be here tomorrow. Now,
Do I need to-
how cool is that one, though?
do I need to stop by the lodge and grab our burial aprons, our ones that we pass out at the funerals?
You know, it wouldn't hurt, just so
Okay.
we'll have plenty.
Okay,
If we don't use them, well, then I'd rather not need them and have.
You're talking about something just for masons?
Yeah, just for masons.
Now, if you want to wear your cooking apron, you
Your
do.
cooking apron.
the RCA apron, yeah.
But main thing, Commissioner, is you are invited. You don't have to be a mason.
And that's going to be 2 o'clock.
11:15 at the lodge.
2 o'clock will be the
But we need to be,
commencement of the cornerstone laying.
do we need to start early Friday or anything, or be prepared so we can get up to Bob's by 11?
Yeah. What time y'all want to start on?
Start at 9.
Okay.
This will be a coat and tie deal too. with it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, there'll be, I'm asking for the televisions to be there and the newspaper, so we should.
You're doing the press release then?
Do what, sir?
So you will be handling the press release?
No,
Let Nancy send it out. Would that be okay, Bob?
That's great.
Yeah, give her the info, though. We'll get it working together.
Judge,
Yes.
you only have to review bills and take comments from elected officials and staff, so if you wanted to start
at 10 we could.
9:30.
Let's,
Yeah,
let's
you're
start at
right.
9. We'll start at 9:30. I can just,
Okay,
Just in case.
yeah.
Good.
and then I'll put out another notice that, just like I did the last time you were all at LEC, because you'll all be together.
Yeah. Now, you're gonna be gone next Monday, Commissioner Waller, is that correct? Okay, are you gonna try to call in that phone?
Can't,
Okay.
gotta get the number.
Are you gonna be in Cancun,
No, Hawaii.
Hawaii?
God, what's the time zone difference there? You may not be in from out doing adult things yet.
2 hours. Yeah, what do you mean day and a half?
It's more than 2 hours. It's 2 hours difference just to California. And I think last time I did Hawaii was several hours west of that.
I don't think I'm going to Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to Pumpkin Center. That's
Well, there's a time warp sometimes we hear.
right. Haynesville,
Haynesville, yes, sir. Downtown Haynesville.
downtown Haynesville.
Okay. A lot of history there, though.
At Wayne's.
All right. Commissioner Beecham, anything to report from you, sir?
No, I'll just remind everybody that early voting started the day of the special election.
That's gonna be the case here next.
Okay. Precincts, y'all need to stay close to what Lori needs you to do. We're not gonna have a whole lot of locations for this special election.
We've already moved the glass Martin built. Lori called and sent me on a mission.
We got ours gathered up Friday, I think. So
Okay.
there you go.
We did ours Thursday.
Okay, Commissioner Harvey?
We are voting at the Precinct 2 barn in Burke Burnett. This is for our Senate District 30, Texas. This is for our senator's position. I think there's 6 candidates. I don't even know all their names.
Really? I thought there were only 3.
There's,
5 Republicans, 1 Democrat.
yeah, that's right. So,
So there is another
Craig
election.
Carter is one. let's see, Craig Carter is one. I think I only know 4. I don't know the 5th. Craig Carter, Chris Watts, Luther, Shelley Luther, and of course, Drew Springer. And then there's another Republican, I can't think of his name, and then a Democrat. So something new to me is campaign signs at my yard. Pulled up there Wednesday, and there was a Craig Carter sign, big one, tied to my fence. And I almost got in trouble. I came out there one time, and there had to have been 30 campaign signs in my yard. And I called Judge. I said, I'm taking that crap. He said, don't touch them signs.
Yep.
I said, they're at the dadgum precinct barn. He said, it's public property.
Well, what about mine? I never thought about that, because I'm doing the same.
Well,
Do I have,
They
I
gotta
do
be-
have a lot more space.
they have to be, 100 feet away from the door?
Yeah.
And the signs that they're putting up are 100 feet away from the door.
So I just need to pull the tape on them and see if they're legit. Because you get my easement out 100 foot out my front door, but maybe not on the sides or something.
Be close.
Right. But there are Senate campaign signs out there now. Cornerstone on Friday. Saturday, we're having a fundraiser for Casey Rogers, one of our local residents there in Burke Burnett, with colon cancer. He self-employed with no insurance, so we're going to do what we can to offset some of those costs for Casey. From what I understand, there's 3 bands going to be playing, and I'm going to be cooking fish.
Where's that gonna be?
It's going to be at the American Legion, 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoons when it starts. There is a tremendous amount of silent auction items. Not necessarily just our community, but the county has been very supportive of Casey. Casey does spray foaming. And when called down to talk to the vendor that he buys all his spray foam from to get some kind of, either a gift card or something like that, the guy said, well, let me talk to my boss and call you back. So the owner of the company called and he said, how can I help? Said, you could give, some cards, $100 card or something like that. He said, why don't I just take care of his account and wipe it clean?
Ooh. Amen.
And
Wow.
we went, that'd be great. He said, it's done and we'll be there Saturday to support Casey. I think that was several $1,000s worth of foam.
Wow.
That's Texas, buddy.
Yeah.
People just love to take care of people. So anyway, I'm really proud of what they've done, getting ready for Casey's fundraiser. Come on out. It's a good fish, and just donate a little money and go from there.
What's his name again? And
Casey Rogers.
And where's it gonna be?
It's going to be at the American Legion, Burke Burnett. I'm going to start serving fish about 5 o'clock, 5:30, something like that.
Back in around the high school, is it, Lee? But
No, it's on, that's the lodge. This is on I-44. If you take the exit 12, like you're gonna go to McDonald's, just don't turn, just stay on the service road, and it's right there on the right. Big sign on the side of it, American Legion.
Yeah, it's on the east side of the road, right?
It is. What else is going on?
Okay. Commissioner Moore.
trying to mow again today. Touch and go.
Oh my God.
We got some areas we can run in, and so we're gonna try to get that done. Judge, just a little perspective. We all know there's a big election coming up in November, presidential election. We've heard, like we always hear, that this could be a life-changing deal, and I think it can be, but let's keep things in perspective. I had somebody who was just all wadded up over the presidential election a number of years ago. I said, who is your state representative? I don't know. Who's your state senator? I don't know. I said, do you realize that those two people probably have more direct day-to-day influence on your life than who the President of the United States is? I said, you need to know, and you need to be informed, and you need to go vote. This is a real important election in Senate District 30. It has direct effect on your life every day. Don't get confused. This one and then the big one next month. You need to participate in both of them, but study before you go. I've had the opportunity, I got to interview all the candidates about a couple of weeks ago for a packed deal.
All 5 or 6?
Yeah, 5. I think there was 5 of them. And there's a lot of difference. So you study, do your homework. This is an important election, vitally important to the state of Texas, our day-to-day lives. So keep that in mind.
I am not sure there'll be a voter's guide out on the special election. There usually is one on.
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't time.
Yeah.
Well, this thing blew up.
Early voting's on.
Yeah, early voting's on today, but go stop by and vote early. But this, don't just shrug your shoulders on these state elections. They're important.
You know, it's hard to pick out. You gotta find something more than look at their
Oh, yeah.
campaign flyers, because I think they had the same printer, they just changed the names.
Well, we need,
The ones I've seen.
you know, if their flyers are the case, we need to elect them all, and we'd be that many times better off. So, I mean, they're all gonna fix it, and everything's gonna be good, but there's difference in it, study it. And, make an informed decision, but make a decision, be part of the deal.
I always thought there would be an anti-poll tax. If you don't vote, you get charged.
That's a good point.
Okay, Commissioner Watts.
We've just been keeping an eye on our county line project. It's held up very good with this good rain came through. It did what it's supposed to do and worked the way it's supposed to do, and we were nervous about that, but it's held up, and just a little dress up stuff to finish it off, I think, when the mud dries, which is still extremely wet, but we were proud of it, and hopefully that's going to go on, and we're going to sow a little wheat on it, I think, to keep it footed till we can get better stuff on it. But anyway, that's good there. We've still got plenty of dirt to move. If you do know that project, City of Iowa Park, I think, is going to take some from us at the appropriate time. And are we going to be able to revise any of our roadways on the grant application?
Yes.
Okay.
You got a whole new set of rules.
Okay.
And gentlemen, you've got to look at those and pay attention. There is a monthly reporting requirement. There is an inspection, and I can't find any form that you're supposed to have on each project at the end of it, and then there's a certification of the project being done.
We were gonna let Barry, he was gonna be our voice with the grant people. We were all going to update Barry and communicate with Barry, and we have all 4 of us trying to communicate with the grant people, just go
Well, Debbie
through
can
one.
do the report if need be.
Yeah.
Well, it's much more stringent than it was.
Yeah, and we're not approved yet, so until we get that approval time, don't be, you know.
Spending any money.
Yeah, on that.
When do we feel like that'll be set in stone, Judge?
I can tell you when the COVID virus is gonna be over for closer, then I can tell you that.
November 4th.
We would hope soon, because we've got some stuff. we need to
Well,
do.
and we don't get back in, but that contract has some concerns to it. It's amazing that the state attorney's gonna write a contract without reading Texas law.
Well, on that note, and one of the issues that we've been looking at, the Lake Road and County Line Road in our precinct, which are too thin to be ground, do y'all think that I can take that grader blades and rip those and get more out of it than, I'm afraid I'll just turn it to dirt if I ever put the machine on it this winter. And think, well, maybe we should pull off some of what we're doing and just concentrate on those 2 longer roads there. And, you know, it's worked well how we put the millings back in those bad spots, how we ripped them and then put them down, rolled them in. That's held up pretty good, but I told Jack maybe it's gonna be more effective to not get down there and, because we put that milling machine on there and it's just barely set, it's still gonna turn it to a flower bed.
You can plant pumpkins in it after you get to that.
Mhm.
What about just going on top of what you got and raise the whole surface? What's that gonna do?
Well,
Your
and
approach
that,
is-
I wonder that, Judge, I mean, that's what Barry and Lee recommended on my bad spots, and it's worked great. I don't know about the solid spots. The solid spots are only very, very thin.
Problem with ripping them with a set of rippers is it gets awful chunky.
It gets big.
Well, can I scar it enough to come in and do what Judge says and dump on top of it, to give it a footing? Or does that-
Just do a little section and see what it does. You can always come back with a steel wheel roller and crush that stuff down. Well, I'm worried about, you get those chunks in that mix and it's
If you
hard to
get,
get 'em.
if you get your rippers too deep, it makes a mess. So if you just put your rippers just like an inch or so,
And scar that
And-
inch to give it a foot?
give it a bond, that's right.
Yeah, it is all you're trying to do. But, you know, we say that, and yet when you do that inch, I'm sitting there all the time going, okay, so you do that, now you've got a slick surface here. I'm wondering if you can't do just as well, leave that current surface alone.
No, 11 inch. You gotta scar it. You gotta get it to where it'll bite.
Okay, just think about it a second. You're putting that in there, what's below the vine? Another solid surface.
Dirt.
So I mean, I'm trying to figure that difference.
Well, I
I've
mean-
never thought about that until right now.
Well, is there anything, can you go on a solid surface, spray anything that turns that blacktop back to a tacky adhesive that, is there a,
Well, they spray almost a ball seal coat before they lay hot mix on it. On it.
Primer.
TxDOT does
Would
that.
that
It's
work?
just a primer.
Basically. Well, worse, TxDOT does it all over the place.
Yeah.
That's their normal deal.
right on top of a,
Yeah, and then they'll run another layer of hot mix
Oh,
on
red
top of
slider.
it.
You've got
But you could-
suppliers that'll answer some of those questions.
You could put that primer down and then put base on top of it. I believe you could, as long as it had soil binder in the base.
oh, that's a good idea.
It's gonna have to go try a little section and see what works. And it's gonna change on you, that's the problem, you'll get into a different scenario and.
Well, my soil changes quite drastically out there.
Drastically.
Okay.
Shortcuts, boys.
Anything else? We'll get you copies of the agreement, but there are a lot more reporting and timeliness of that reporting and accountability on that. And the way we set up our order is either Commissioner Mull or I, or sometimes it says in there, the county judge can designate someone else to do a certain part of the project. That's gonna be only if we have some major, we need one person, and Commissioner Muller was primary
Yes.
for that, although that doesn't fit in any of their templates. I keep getting all of the stuff. I'll keep forwarding it to you, Barry.
Well, I'm hoping we can take that set of rules and make us a schedule
Yeah.
off of it to where, okay, this is a monthly, you know, this is prior to, this is after the fact, this is 90 days after, you know.
Yeah.
If we can get that down in a schedule form, I think it'll help us and it'll make it a little easier to.
But I'm saying good daily logs are what's all done. You know,
But don't start until we get it approved.
Like a lot of things, if we can get the spreadsheet, if we can get the deal done, and get our money.
But we're thinking that we'll be able to in December gather some material.
That's what I'm hoping, but.
I hope so.
We don't know. We need to.
We're gonna have a lot of material together.
We need to roll those trucks.
So, well, can't roll them until we get approved.
I understand
But
that.
once you get that, then, you know.
Be ready.
To do that, and as much of that as we can do in kind, we're better off.
Mhm.
Okay. So we'll get you all, and I've highlighted some of the stuff in the CTIP I think we really need to look at.
But along those lines, Judge, one of the things we need to keep in mind is when we do get that approval, and get ready to roll, we need to really get together and do some scheduling where we can have that constant. We need to have people standing by to roll those trucks and get that stuff done.
Yeah.
And not let them sit, 2 or 3 days. Let's keep.
We can even send our tandems, not just belly dumps.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is just to be planned out. We haven't got 2 of them sitting for 2 days when we need to be running, so just a little communication will work.
The other thing, we had a Fantasy Alliance board meeting last week,
Oh, my word.
and they're like a lot of other nonprofits that are going to be behind in donations. One of the areas they think they can save money, and this is the way we did it when we first started that in the 70s, is individuals or organizations would haul the displays out to the university. I didn't know whether, and we're talking about a pickup, pulling most of those displays were all trailer mounted. I didn't know whether you all would approve as a public purpose to turn loose a driver and a truck to help them on move-on day, which is usually early November.
You're just talking about a pickup truck, right?
Yeah, and everything hitches up to, I think we try to make it all standard 2-inch ball hookups, but
Is it in Arch City?
no.
Oh,
No,
is it? I
no,
didn't
it's
know
just
where
out
that-
there off south, behind the textile on Southwest Parkway.
Okay.
You come in off of 79,
I'm back in the old days.
you're back in the way old days. Then, it was down in the old Lone Star Gas building.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah. It and the pigeons and the rats and everything else.
Honestly, I think individually, we have our own personal 3/4 ton trucks that we could
If you want to do that.
donate our own time.
Everybody's gonna get one, you'd have it pretty well.
Yep,
Yeah,
or get 2 or 3.
It's valuable in a good road again.
Well, it also takes it away from being county funds.
Yeah.
And we still accomplish the job and,
Yeah, no, I prefer you did it that way.
Oh, right.
And, the only thing we've had trouble with, sometimes people went a different way, they thought it'd be faster. And we redid the Ferris wheel one year because somebody went under a tree.
oh my word,
So, there's gotta be a little
yeah.
attention paid
It
when you're
wouldn't hurt
hauling.
if you did a 3 or 4 big old caravan where everybody was
Went together,
with a lead vehicle or something.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot of acreage around those barns out there to be able to stage and do some deals like that.
And they're all bumper pool, correct?
Yes. Yeah,
I have 3 3/4 ton vehicles, personal, that we can pull trailers with.
That means I'll have to get my tags.
well, now your pickup, and those trailers aren't tagged,
No, I know. Are we
but
still
I'll
on
get
the-
you all the date just as soon as they have that, but,
I think that tag deal, didn't it kick in December 1st if you were behind and you hadn't been able to get it or whatever?
I didn't think it's supposed to be 60 days after the governor retires his valuation.
I don't really know
Well,
what,
the deal was 60 days after the declaration expires.
which is not expired.
No, it's not expired.
Okay. You're still good.
But, what worries me is for some people, it's just like the problems that the JPs are dealing with on people thought, well, I don't have to pay my rent because I'm evicted. Someday you're gonna pay the rent or you're gonna be evicted. It's gonna come due. And the same thing with the people on workers, the unemployment compensation is great until you have to pay
Taxes.
taxes for that. And that's both IRS and Social Security, I believe.
Factor food is food.
So
Ooh.
it's gonna hurt people. And I don't know if anybody's adopted the, not taking your payroll taxes out and reflecting that for the first of the year. That'll be a double whammy.
Dangerous.
You'll be paying what you owe currently plus what you owed before. It's not good. Okay. Anything else? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Just for my clarification purposes, purchasing manager, we really don't have such a description. And
Purchasing agent. most of the
purchasing
time.
agent.
That's, if we create that, then you create an entity that's covered by statute, and the district judges and the county judge is the person that appoints a purchasing agent if you go formal purchasing agent.
But can Tracy in some instances serve as a consultant to the court in that
In regard
capacity?
In regard, generally, we've asked our attorney if we had questions about.
That doesn't obligate her to have to do anything other than,
No, not about giving advice that we need to bid or not bid or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a permanent path board down at Tracy's office asking her purchasing questions.
Yeah, I was starting to say, I hope I'm supposed to be doing that, because.
okay.
Yeah.
For a long time in the budget, Willie, you had the additional duty title of purchasing something it was called. I don't think we called it agent, I think there's a different word. And then you dropped that.
He still does it.
Still for that work with it. Okay, anything else? It is 11:32 and we're adjourned.